welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be giving you a review, my thoughts, and talking about A New World from Gather Round. So today's video is all about Gather Round's Mini History Unit 1, A New World. We actually completed this back in November of last year, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to make a review video, but I'm really excited because we absolutely loved this unit. If you've been around my channel, you may know our struggle with finding a history curriculum. I have tried a ton, and I've tried it individually for my kids. I've tried it doing other unit studies, and honestly, it's so hard. We absolutely love this history unit. It's something that I learned from. I enjoy doing it. My kids were engaged, and guys, they really liked it, and they actually retained history. If this is your first time learning about Gather Round, this is not a Gather Round like in-depth look. I'm not going to tell you all about it because this would be a way long video, but they are a family unit study based curriculum. They write curriculum on different topics, and they write it in a way that it actually includes all the core subjects except math. So you could just use Gather Round units as your main units. That's not how we use them. We use them as standalone unit studies, and we just get those extra benefits, right? And so because they talk about science and obviously history and language arts, we just like those benefits. Well, the mini units are a little bit different. They are more focused just on that topic. So obviously this is a mini history unit, so it's all history focused. The difference with mini units is you only have 2 student work pages instead of the normal, I think, 4 to 5. And those extra pages are normally things for like language arts and science and just extra core things. In this, you're going to read the lesson, and your kids have 2 pages to complete specifically to history. Now, they're still learning things on vocabulary and science and obviously history. So just because it's a mini unit, there's still tons in here. And guys, it was just amazing. So you can buy Gather Round units either printed from Gather Round directly, or you can buy digital copies. This was the first unit that I purchased as a digital copy because I have a new printer. I have a Pro Click binder up there in the corner. And so this was actually the first unit that I used all that stuff on, and I made a whole binding video too. So if you use Gather Round and you're interested to see how I actually bound this, there's a whole video on it. I'll link below. But what I decided to do is the teacher's guide, I bounded, and this was for me. But then for my kids, I just actually printed out their units for them. So my oldest daughter did elementary, and she's in 4th grade. And then my 2nd grade daughter did early elementary. So Gather Round has different workbook levels depending on your kids' age, grade, level, whatever you kind of associate that with. So I found that those 2 age ranges worked out really well. And so how it works is you have the teacher's lesson, you read it to your kids. Sometimes I would have them read it aloud if I was doing something. If I had work or something, then they would read it out loud. And they did need some help because it is written for a teacher or a parent to read, but they got through it. So there's normally about 4 pages of reading. Now, here's what I will tell you. We had to learn this way of unit study. So it was almost like a training period where my kids had to learn to listen to me reading for long periods of time, but not just like reading a read aloud, right? They need to listen because they're going to work on worksheets after the reading is done. So I will tell you, we didn't start with this Gather Round unit. We actually started with North America, which that one actually kind of started training us. This one is really where we got our lives figured out, right? I knew one thing that really helped is I would have them look at their student pages for the lesson. These pages are what would need to get done, and I have like an example. So here's an example. So this was lesson 5. So this was 1 page. And so it was like, okay, you're going to have a map, you have notes, you're going to draw something. You're going to be doing vocabulary. So what we got in the habit of is before I started reading, I would tell my kids, go through your student pages and you read through it, because it's going to be asking you questions, asking you map questions. I need you to listen and for those terms, for that. And so I'm telling you, it was a little bit of work. I had to train them. I had to train myself. A lot of times I would have them tell me what they were going to be doing. Obviously in your teacher's guide, you can see, but just having that verbal conversation, when I was then reading, I kind of was like, hey, this seems important, to kind of make sure that they were paying attention to that portion. If they needed to pause and write some notes down, that was fine too. So the very first gather round lesson, I was like, holy moly, guys, like this is a lot of reading. I don't even know what I just said. We had to train ourselves to be better listeners, to be better note takers, and those are life skills, right? So that is my only type of advice. If you're jumping into gather round, there will be an adjustment period because it's just a little bit different. So that is how it works. You as the teacher, you have your teacher's guide, you have your pages to read through, and then your kids have activities to complete based on those pages. Now, some pages, the answers come directly from your reading. Others, it will say, hey, go research this, like, or what's your opinion? And that's kind of like a writing assignment. There was a huge there was a unit-long project where your kid picked a piece of art in that time period and had to do a presentation on it. And so, every couple lessons, it would give them time to work on that project, and it would give them kind of a, hand holding of like steps they need to take. And so that was really fun. And it was a really fun project seeing my kids, go research it, so using the internet to research it, using some reference books we had, coming up with their presentations, and then presenting it. We really enjoyed having them do all those things. I love the way that the stories are written for me to read. I can comprehend it easier. Sometimes I do have to maybe restate it for my 2nd grader or 4th grader, just depending on the topic or the lesson. It gives you enough information, but then sometimes leaving you wanting more. If you don't have it, there's the Gather Round app where you go into the app, you go to your unit study, and then guys, there's so many resources from Gather Round itself, from other homeschool parents. It gives you video links on YouTube to watch movies, books, other activities, crafts. I mean, the community is just amazing. So if you're wanting more, or if you're, wanting to just kind of go slower, there's so many resources. That will bring me to books and read aloud. So I actually used the Bookshark readers because we absolutely love Bookshark readers. They matched up. So we have Bookshark Level D, the Intro to American History Year 1. These books actually matched up really well, and a lot of them were the same recommended ones from Gather Round. So we were using those books. Sometimes we did it as an audiobook where both of my kids would listen. Sometimes I assigned separate books to my daughters to read. So they'd be reading different books on the same thing at the same time. And so that was really fun. Then they would swap books, or sometimes, my 4th grader would have a little bit older of a book than my 2nd grader. We used a lot of the Who Is, What Is books, so that was really fun. So just kind of having that freedom to kind of select different books, different activities. I think the only movie we watched was Pocahontas, like the Disney Pocahontas, which it was really funny. After going through our lessons, my kids were like, that's not the right story. So it was actually fun seeing that. I don't think we watched too many others. There is, when we do, because we are planning to do the 2nd one, I just don't know when. We're going to start watching like the Liberated Kids series because it gets more, I think, into like the Revolution and Civil War. So we're going to be doing those things. If you saw one of my other videos, we were using our timeline. So the timelines from Bookshark. and I made my own little figurines that we put in, but these were from the Gather Round unit. As you can see, like, we loved the textbook and worksheet aspect. I probably am, if anyone loves Gather Round, they're probably like, you did not just call that like a textbook and worksheet, but it's kind of what it feels like. We get the information in a comprehensible way. My kids have some worksheets to do to kind of reinforce that, and we like that. I like that. And then we have those branch out activities, you know, YouTube videos, books to read, our timeline activities. And thankfully, I love the books and sources from Bookshark. And so we kind of just filled those in and kind of mashed everything together. And it was just wonderful and amazing. And like I said, we're going to be jumping in to, so I want to say they just came out with mini unit 6. So this was number 1. And they just released number 6. So we will probably do maybe, I haven't planned out the rest of this school year yet. Side note for those of you that care, or you could just skip the next 30 seconds. We were going to be schooling pretty much all over summer. I wasn't going to take a long summer break, but now my kids want to go to summer camp. So I'm kind of just like debating like when our school year's ending. And so I don't know if unit 2 will get on this school year, but if not, definitely next school year. And hopefully we can get through like another 2 or 3 of them, because guys, I'm telling you, like, I really enjoyed it. My kids really enjoyed it. And we just haven't found a history that works for all of us in that way and fits into our homeschool routine. We would probably spend about 30 minutes on these units. So maybe about 10 to 15 minutes of me reading, and then 15 minutes of my kids doing. All right, guys, so that was my quick review. There's not much to it. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of the units, the lessons as I flipped through. If you have specific questions, I'd love to answer them. Leave them down below in the comments. And that's it for this video. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.